Have you ever, fudged an expense report by just a few bucks? Or maybe you've been undercharged at a store and thought, well, their mistake, not mine. I mean, it seems so small, right? But what if those tiny decisions are actually a window into something way, way deeper? Today, we're going to dive into financial integrity and why it really has less to do with money and everything to do with your heart.
Wow. I mean, this question really hits home, doesn't it? Because we've all felt that temptation it's describing. We see it in the big headlines about corporate fraud, sure, but we also see it in the little things, those gray areas in our own lives. So, where do you draw that line between a smart business deal and, well, just taking advantage of someone? Let's get into it.
All right, so here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with this big idea of an unjust balance. Then we'll jump back in time to see where this whole concept comes from. From there, we'll look at how it actually plays out in the real world, and we'll wrap things up with a really practical way you can check your own financial compass. Okay, so let's kick things off with this really powerful central idea, the unjust balance. It's a metaphor that honestly just perfectly captures the very essence of what financial dishonesty is all about. This old school image of someone literally tipping the scales in their favor is so powerful because it's absolutely timeless. Think about it. It could be a merchant in a dusty marketplace thousands of years ago, or a massive corporation today hiding fees in the tiny print of a contract. The game is exactly the same. Create an imbalance and then profit from it. So, where did this powerful idea of a just balance even come from? Well, it's not some modern ethical concept. It's actually deeply rooted in ancient wisdom, where being honest with your money was seen as a spiritual must. Just look at the language here for a second. It is incredibly strong. Dishonesty isn't just called bad or wrong, it's an abomination. And on the flip side, honesty isn't just good, it's a delight. This tells you we're not talking about just following some rules. This is about a deep moral and spiritual reality. And this is such a key point. Just because our ways of being dishonest have gotten more sophisticated, with things like digital scams or ridiculously complex financial schemes, that doesn't mean the principle has changed one bit. An unjust balance is an unjust balance. Period. Okay, so ancient wisdom is great, but how does it actually help you navigate a complex business deal or a tricky client situation today? Well, the answer is in translating these timeless principles into modern, clear, actionable standards. Things like professional codes of ethics. You should think of a professional ethics code less like a rule book and more like a compass. It doesn't just list all the things you can't do, it points you toward the true north of your profession's highest ideals. It's really a guide for those tough moments when the right path isn't so obvious. Now let's get even more specific. We're going to zoom in on a really high-stakes area where these principles get tested every single day, the financial relationship between a professional and their client. You see, this is what clarity looks like in action. The standard here isn't just, hey, be honest. It's avoid all deception, confusion, and misrepresentation. It puts the responsibility squarely on the professional to make sure the client understands everything completely. There is absolutely no room for gray areas here. And here's how that one single rule breaks down into what you do every day. It's about being fair when you set your prices. It's about being totally transparent. And it's even about compassion, actually considering a client's ability to pay. This is where that big principle of the just wait becomes something you can actually do, a tangible daily practice. It's so easy to think of all this as something for other people, the big shot executives or the Wall Street types. But the truth is, we all have a balance we have to maintain in our own lives. So let's bring this all home and talk about how you can conduct your own personal integrity audit. Just let that question sink in for a moment. Think back to a time when you chose the honest path, even though it cost you something. Maybe a competitor took a shortcut and got ahead. And in that moment of doubt, you might have wondered, was I being too honest? This reflection is so important because it reminds us that true integrity is a conscious choice, and we often have to make it when it's the hardest. So here's a really simple framework. Let's make this real. Imagine someone donates a stack of gift cards to your organization. Step 1, review your practices. Is there a crystal clear, transparent process for how those cards are handled? Step 2, seek accountability. Don't just make a decision on your own. Run the process by a supervisor or trusted colleague. This prevents even the appearance of something being off. And step 3, conform your actions to that principle of the just wait, making sure every single dollar on those cards is tracked and used exactly as the donor wanted. And we'll end right there, because this question, it's not just about ethics, it's about our very essence. It challenges us to see every single financial decision, big or small, not as some isolated event, but as another weight that we place on the scales of our own integrity. What will your balance show?